Good morning, good people of YouTube. Today I'm talking about section 2, chapter 4, page 7. The relationship between the DNA molecule and the 64 hexagrams of I-Ching. Now, as I said, I-Ching is a book of divination. It has told about the past, the present, and the future. And it talks about the Akashic record, which we'll talk about that later. But very important facts between the 64 hexagrams and the I-Ching is the relationship between DNA molecule and the 64 hexagrams. Now, when I was studying medicine, it always fascinated me how this DNA molecule, which is the basis of life, relates to the hexagrams, and nobody knew the answer. But as I study more and more, as I studied the molecular structure of the DNA, I realized that now number 64 is number 4 to the cube of 3, to the power of 3, which is number 4 3 times, repeated 3 times. So 64 is 4 to the cube of 3, which is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. Now, how is that relationship to the DNA molecule? Now, DNA molecule is like a strand of yin and yang, 2 strands. One goes up, one goes down. And it's got 4 bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. And when the cell wants to divide, when the body wants to divide, the DNA molecule unzips like a zip, and it becomes 2 sections, 2 parts. And so the mother cell becomes 2 daughter cells. Now, the DNA molecule at this stage is called the mRNA, which is a messenger RNA. It goes through the nuclear pore into the cytoplasm of the cell. Then there is another molecule called a transfer RNA, comes in, and on the transfer RNA, you have 3 prongs, 3 bits sticking out, which is tied to the trinity of Daoism, the yin-yang chi. Now, this transfer RNA is called, what the stuff is called anticodon. These 3 prongs is called anticodon. This is molecular structure. It reads 3 of the bases. 3 of the 4 bases. It reads 3, and then it says, right, these 3, I'm going to get this particular amino acid, which is, the amino acids are in the cytoplasm in the cell. When we eat food and our body digests the food, that DNA, that food, like the protein, the fat, the lipids, the carbohydrates, they break down. So there is, inside the cytoplasm of the cell, there is this food just floating around. So the tRNA, the transfer RNA, reads those 3 codon, which is on the mRNA molecule, and it goes and picks up a particular amino acid. Now, there are 21 basic amino acids that the human body is made of. Each time it reads it, it goes and picks up a particular amino acid and brings it into the cell and leaves it there. Then it moves across the mRNA, and it reads another 3 and says, right, these 3, let's say in this case, first it reads the AGA, then it reads the GCA, and then it says, right, this is another amino acid. So it brings that amino acid and puts it into the next first amino acid. So gradually, then it goes to the next one, to the next mRNA, 3 codons. So the codon, anticodon, again, which is yin and yang, they read it. The 3 anticodon reads the 3 codon. And it goes along to the next molecule. And gradually builds up the molecule, the protein, which is the fundamental basics. So gradually, for example, the insulin molecule has got 51 amino acids, a mixture of different amino acids. And it's read by the mRNA and the tRNA, transfer RNA. So it's a fantastically complicated molecule. So when you look at the 4 bases, adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, which is basically dead molecules, and you look at the codon, 3 codon, you see the DNA molecule, the 64 hexagrams, how they relate to the 4 bases, codon, 3 codon, anticodon, 4 times 3, 4 to the power of 3 is 64. So I think personally the ancient aliens, or God knows, the question is, who lit the litmus paper? Who lit the touch paper? Who started this whole thing? Because it's so complicated, so phenomenally ordered. But also remember that there are 200, some people say 60 trillion, some people say 100 trillion, some people say 200 trillion cells inside the body. The human body is composed of between 60 and 200 trillion molecules, not million, not billion, but trillion molecules. And inside each one of those molecules, this stuff is going on. This DNA molecules production, like a fantastic factory. So who started this? The ancient alien theory says an alien combination. Whatever it is phenomenal. So Western medicine is concerned about the mechanical side of it. But I was concerned about the spirit side of it. So who started this? Who put it there? This phenomenal molecule. So that's the relationship between 60. So the person who did this, or the energy, call it God, call it God, call it Tao, whatever it did, it put that 64 hexagram in a yin and yang symbol, in a Tao, in a code, in a symbol. So later on we can decipher it. But the 64 hexagrams connect, in one way of its connection is to the Tao and the hexagrams.